The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was not supposed to be quiet. It had never been quiet before. For hundreds of years, voices filled the chamber, voices of leaders, diplomats, warriors, and thinkers from all corners of the known galaxy. But today, something was wrong. The silence felt sharp, cut through the air like a blade. Every species was present. The Vroth, with their tall golden bodies. The Zakari, whose eyes never blinked. The Malari, who floated rather than walked. All were seated in their assigned places, arranged in a perfect circle that symbolized balance, order, and peace. Except one seat. The seat of Earth was empty. It stood at the northern end of the hall, a black chair made of old human steel, polished and cold. Above it hung the emblem of Earth, a blue circle surrounded by stars. It had been there for 312 years. Humans were not the oldest race in the council, but they were one of the most powerful. And now, they were gone. No one spoke for the first 7 minutes of the session. The silence dragged on, and some began to fidget. Others looked at each other with quiet fear. Everyone thought the same thing, but no one said it. Why was the seat empty? Where were the humans? Finally, the Grand Speaker, a tall and pale being from the Threll Dominion, stood up. "This session will begin," she said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes betrayed her concern. "We note the absence of the human confederacy. No notice was given, no reason explained. This is unprecedented." From the Vroth side, a thick voice rose. "Perhaps it is a mistake. Perhaps their ship was delayed." "They do not make mistakes," replied a Zakari diplomat sharply. "Not humans, not in this chamber." Another voice, soft, trembling, came from a smaller species near the center. What if something happened to Earth? That single question sent a wave of unease across the hall. It was a possibility no one wanted to imagine. Earth had the second largest fleet in the galaxy. Its science, its weapons, even its diplomacy were unmatched. If something had truly happened to Earth, then what power could have done it? But there had been no distress signal, no cries for help. Nothing, just silence. The Malari delegate floated forward, their glowing eyes dim. "I request we send a probe, a drone to check the Sol system. Let us confirm that Earth is safe." The speaker nodded. Approved. The hall moved on. Debates about trade, war, defense, diplomacy. But every time someone tried to speak, their eyes drifted toward the empty human seat. No one could focus. The absence felt like a shadow growing longer with each passing minute. When the session ended, the silence returned. A week passed. Then 2. No message. No explanation. The drone sent to Earth's system never returned. It disappeared at the edge of the Oort cloud, just before reaching Neptune. No damage, no trace. It simply vanished. Whispers started to spread through the galaxy. Earth has fallen. Earth has declared war. Earth is building something. Earth is preparing. Earth is watching. All of these stories were just rumors. But they had one thing in common: fear. Soon after, several minor species began to act differently. A few small nations broke trade agreements. One pirate group attacked a council supply ship near the edge of the Harn Belt, something no one had dared to do for over a century. The council tried to calm the situation, but everyone could feel it. The balance was shifting. For 300 years, Earth's presence had kept the peace. It's not through threats, not through war, but simply by being there. No one dared to break the rules when they knew the humans were watching. Now, with Earth silent, the rules began to bend. One late night, deep in the archives below the council building, a young assistant named Kara found something strange. She was cleaning the historical logs of previous sessions when she noticed a file. Hidden, encrypted, but marked with the Earth emblem. It was over 80 years old. She tried to access it, but it was locked behind 10 layers of code. Curious and nervous, she reported it to her superior, who then contacted the High Archivist. By the next day, the file was DECRYPT. It was a message from Earth's last Grand Envoy, Admiral Serena Kale. The message was short. If Earth ever leaves the Council, it is not by accident. It is not from weakness. It is a decision. And if Earth makes that decision, understand this: order will die. The balance will break, and chaos will follow. We do not wish for this, but we do not fear it. The message ended there. No explanation. No date. No context. The Council called an emergency meeting. The message was shown to all members. Fear returned, sharper this time. Some asked if Earth had found something, a threat unknown. Others believed Earth was planning something of its own. A plan without the Council. Debate turned into argument. Accusations flew. Some blamed Earth for abandoning its duties. Others blamed the Council for pushing them away. A few tried to calm the room, but it was no use. The seed of panic had already been planted. In the shadows of the outer systems, pirate groups began to form alliances. Smugglers moved freely across borders. Weapons once banned by the Council began appearing on black markets. Worlds once peaceful started hiring private militias. All of it happened slowly, quietly, but Earth said nothing. One Council ambassador, a Zarn diplomat named Thuric, volunteered to visit Earth directly. The shiplight's honor left within 12 hours. It never returned. The signal was lost one jump away from Pluto. The silence grew louder. More weeks passed. Tensions rose. Minor conflict broke out between two border systems. A Council frigate tried to stop it and was fired upon. The Council demanded punishment, but both systems refused. "We do not fear you," said one system leader. "You are not the power you once were. Earth is gone. So is your control." The Council realized then something deep had changed, not just in governments, here in the minds of people. The old fear was gone. The respect had faded. Order was breaking. On the edge of the galaxy, a group of rogue ships attacked a Council convoy. The convoy was carrying medicine to plague-struck planets. It was destroyed. No one knew who gave the attack order. No one took credit, but a strange detail emerged. Fragments of the attackers' weapons were recovered. The material was of Earth origin, not just human-made, but high-grade military alloy, the kind only Earth's inner defense used. Had someone stolen it, or had humans given it? The Council demanded answers. But Earth still said nothing by now. Earth's name was spoken in fear again. But not because of its actions, because of its silence. What does Earth want? Is this revenge? Is this judgment? Have they abandoned us? More planets began questioning the Council's leadership. Some threatened to break away. Others demanded emergency elections. Chaos spread faster. In the quiet halls of the Council, the human seat remained empty. Some suggested removing it. Others said to leave it as it was, a symbol, a warning. One elder species, the Gulron, left a simple message at the base of the chair during a night session. It was written in ancient Terran language: "When the Watchers leave, the stars must learn to watch themselves." That night, thunder struck over the Council dome, though there were no clouds. Lights flickered, and across every communication network in the galaxy, one phrase appeared for 3.7 seconds. In English, in bold, "We are still watching." Then it vanished. No origin. No trace. No answer. The Council did not sleep that night, and Earth's seat remained cold and empty. It started with a single star going dark. Dren 4 was a small colony in the outer ring. Peaceful. A farming world. They didn't have ships. They didn't have weapons. They barely had a fleet beacon. But they were loyal members of the Galactic Council. For 75 years, they paid their taxes, followed all protocols, and sent food to 10 other systems. At 2:19 Standard Time, their planetary signal vanished. Council HQ sent ping, no reply. They sent a drone. The drone disappeared. Then came the second world, Phalanx Minor, a trade hub with over 600,000 people, one of the best defended stations in its region. They had orbital cannons, security ships, and shield towers. All of it gone in 8 minutes. The only thing received was a short, corrupted data burst. No video. Just 5 words, "You let the rot grow." The council met in emergency session again. Panic was starting to show now. Delegates spoke over each other. Some were shouting, others accusing. The speaker tried to bring order, but her voice was lost in the noise. 3 attacks in 3 days, no survivors. No answers. No one claiming responsibility. Everyone looked at the empty human seat. No one dared say it out loud. But the thought was there. Across every mind in the chamber. Was this Earth? A few delegates whispered that the attacks felt familiar. Not in style, in effect. Total removal. No survivors. No remains. Just silence. Just like Earth had done long ago, before it joined the Council. The silence that came after those wars, after the burning of Regin Prime, after the Black Rings. Campaign. Earth had stopped all of it, grown quiet, polished, peaceful. But the galaxy never forgot what it had once done. The Council tried to act fast. Ships were sent to the edges. Warnings were spread to nearby systems, but it was already too late. The 4th system to go. Dark was Harkins. Reach a minor mining colony run by a neutral species called the Feral. They had no enemies. They had no fleet. Their only crime was being part of the Council. This time, the video survived. The feed was broken and glitched, but clear enough to see black shapes, sleek ships with no markings, moving fast. No standard drive signatures. They didn't fire missiles. Or lasers. They used pulse weapons, bursts of gravity that tore buildings from the ground and made people vanish mid-run. The worst part? The ships didn't take anything. No loot, no data. No hostages they destroyed, then left. A forensic team found a small piece of hull debris floating in the wreckage. Carbon black, with layered alloy that was classified as human military tech. High-tier, not exported, only produced on Earth. Council. Specialists ran the scan 10 times. The results were the same. This was Earth-made, but it didn't prove Earth sent the ships. That was the line the Council used in their report. But the smaller species weren't convinced. Fear was spreading fast. Some colonies shut down all travel. Others armed themselves. Some even whispered Earth had gone rogue, or worse, had split into factions. That's when the real chaos began. The Rither Syndicate. A crime empire hiding in the void between legal systems attacked a Council patrol ships. They claimed territory around the dead systems. No one stopped them. One captain from the Rither was caught transmitting a strange message to his crew. He said the humans kept us caged. Now they're gone. Take everything. The words were like fire to the wind. Other criminal groups followed. Old border disputes reignited. A mining war broke out between 2 Council member races no one waited for. Permission. They all believed the same thing. Earth was gone. And the law died with them. Back in the Council. The arguments turned to fear. Delegates blamed each other. Some demanded to rebuild a stronger military. Others wanted to negotiate with the pirates. Some even suggested surrendering certain systems. To the chaos, calling them lost zones. One voice from the Tenzari Union spoke calmly but coldly. The galaxy survived without humans before. We will again. But that was a lie. Everyone knew Earth was the reason the last 3 wars ended in weeks, not years. Earth's fleets never fired first, but they always finished last. And now, there were ships in the dark using Earth weapons, moving like Earth's. Black Ops teams once did, destroying only what they chose. Leaving messages meant to make others fear. Another system vanished. Mako's Delta, this time. One sentence was burned into the rock of the moon. You forgot who watched you. By now, small systems began breaking their alliance with the Council. Some formed their own networks. Others begged for protection, not from Earth, but from what came after Earth left. The speaker ordered a vote. Activate the Legacy Protocol. It was a plan made decades ago, a strategy to maintain order if any major power disappeared. The vote failed. Too much arguing. Too much distrust. And the human seat remained empty, still cold. still untouched, but someone was using their voice. A transmission, untraced, was heard in deep space. A low, human voice, unfamiliar, flat. You chose silence. You chose rot. Now the fire comes. That was the whole message. But it played again. And again, across over 40 systems. On private channels. On children's education screens, and no one could stop it. No. One could trace it. The fear grew stronger than logic. Some began to call them the Ash Fleet, a phantom group with Earth weapons, but no known home. Silent, deadly, merciless. Were they exiles? Were they Earth's hidden sword? Or was Earth sending a message? No one knew. And Earth said nothing. It neither confirmed nor denied. It simply stayed silent, and the stars lit up in fire. The Zachary were once the Council's strongest voice of peace. Their worlds stretched across 7 star systems. They were logical, calm, and wise. For over 200 years, they stood beside Earth on every major vote. When war almost broke, out between the Dren Confederacy and the Varn clans was a Zachary ambassador and a human admiral who stopped it, together. But now the Zachary fleets were moving, and they were not moving for peace. It started when Council patrols noticed unusual ship traffic near the edge of Sector 19, a region long considered quiet. No threats, no disputes, no warnings. But suddenly, Zachary warships were seen patrolling borders that weren't theirs. The Council sent a polite message. It's asking for explanation. No reply. A second message was sent, this time marked urgent. Still, no reply. On the third day, a scout drone entered the area. It was destroyed before it crossed into Zachary space. That was the moment fear changed into alarm. At first, many believed it was a mistake. The Zachary had always followed protocol. Maybe there was a local threat they hadn't reported. Pirates. Smugglers. Or worse, Ash Fleet activity. But then came the invasion. 3 Zachary fleets entered. Velnary space, another Council member system. The Velnary had no idea why they were attacked. Their planetary defense collapsed in minutes. Zachary forces took control of orbit, seized power stations, and left one simple broadcast across the surface of every screen. You trusted their order. Now, follow ours. The Council went into emergency session again. Everyone was talking at once. Accusations, demands, threats. Some called it betrayal. Others called it the beginning of the end. Few old diplomats remembered Earth's last warning. If Earth leaves, order dies. And now it was dying. Zachary leaders finally responded after 3 days of silence. But their words were not what anyone expected. The message came in a black-wrapped data burst. High-security encryption. Inside was a single video, showing Admiral Thaurin, Supreme Commander of the Zachary Defense Corps. He looked directly into the camera. We were once fools. We followed a council built on silence and fear. But the humans, they warned you. They gave you time. They gave you balance. You wasted it. He paused, then continued, slower. Earth has not abandoned us. Earth has chosen its allies. The video ended there, but that one sentence changed everything. Had the Zachary made a deal with Earth? Were the attacks part of a larger plan? Or were they lying, using Earth's shadow to make others submit? The Council demanded answers from Earth directly. Again, there was no response. Not a word. Not a sound. The human seat remained untouched across the galaxy. Systems began to question their loyalties. If Earth had truly picked new allies, then who would be next? And more importantly, who would be left behind? Meanwhile, strange things began to happen. Near Zachary territory, old satellites stopped working. Spaceports received false coordinates. Transports carrying medical supplies vanished only to reappear days later with everything intact, but marked with an unknown symbol. A circle, surrounded by 20 stars. It was not a known council sign, but historians remembered it. It was an ancient human emblem used long before Earth joined the council. a war symbol. A badge used only by Black Ops units. No one knew what it meant now, but the Zikari began wearing it on their uniforms. The message was clear. We are not with the Council anymore. Some Council members wanted to send fleets to stop them, but others hesitated. What if Earth was behind them? What if this was only the beginning? Some systems began talking about surrendering. Others began making secret offers to Earth, hoping they could be next in line for protection. And still, Earth said nothing, but human ships were seen in the shadows at the edges of dying systems, watching, never interfering, never speaking, just observing. Then something happened that changed everything. The Zikari broadcasted a secret recording, a conversation between one of their spies and a man named Commander Rel. Rel was human, and he was alive. The conversation was short, full of static. Zikari spy. The Council must know what you're planning. Commander Rel. The Council had its chance. Zikari spy. They'll try to stop us. Commander Rel. Let them try. Zikari spy. Is this revenge? Rel paused. No. This is correction. The signal ended. That word correction shook the chamber. Earth wasn't angry. It wasn't hurt. It was simply done waiting, done watching, and done trusting the Council. More systems began falling, but not to war, to fear, to silence. They pulled back their ships, closed their gates, refused to answer Council messages. The Vroth Empire sent out a fleet to confront the Zikari. Only one ship returned. Its captain, wounded and shaken, had no footage. Only this sentence: they see Earth behind them. That is enough. In private, some delegates began asking what others were too afraid to say. Should we surrender to Earth before it's too late? Should we switch sides before they come? Earth builds a new order. Do we even want to be part of this one anymore? But no one dared say those words in the chamber. Not yet. One more thing happened before the part ended. Former human ally, the Olin Syndicate, released a statement. Was short, written in low galactic code. We remain neutral, but Earth does not forget who helped when the skies burned. Let the Council remember who stood by and who stood in the way. The message was sent to all systems, and then, all at once, 20 more systems began cutting ties with the Council. No threats, no war, just quiet exits. Because they saw the truth now. The Council had lost something. Not just a member, not just a seat. It had lost its balance, and Earth was choosing sides. The Council sent the delegation with white flags. 6 ships, 50 diplomats. No weapons, no escort fleet. Only words and hopes. They called it the Peace Mission, a last effort to speak with Earth directly. To ask, to explain, to beg if needed. The galaxy was falling apart, and everyone knew why. Earth's silence was not a mistake. It was a decision. The Council had run out of time. As the ships moved closer to Sol, the crew began to notice strange things. Navigational data was outdated. Gravity readings were distorted. The stars themselves seemed different. Some were dimmer. Some were simply missing. The human system had changed. When they passed Neptune, every ship received the same message. It came in their own language. One sentence. Continue forward and do not lie. No voice, no face, just text. Some on the delegation were afraid. They wanted to turn back. But they were too close now, too desperate. When they reached Earth's orbit, they found something that stunned every soul aboard. Earth was gone. Not destroyed. It's not damaged. Still there, but hidden. It's covered by something vast, something they could not understand. A giant shimmering field like water and fire moving together in space. It wrapped around the planet like a cocoon. Every scan failed. Every camera glitched. Earth had shielded itself in a way never seen before. Only one thing was visible. A massive structure. In orbit? Black, silent, motionless. It looked like a station, but bigger than any ever built. Shaped like a blade pointed downward. One side of it had a glowing ring of stars, the same old emblem used by Earth's military centuries ago. The delegation sent a greeting. No answer. Then one docking bay opened. The delegation leader, a being named Velos from the Carthon Union, took 3 of his team and entered the station. Inside, they found no humans. It's just an artificial voice. Follow the path. Do not stray. They walked through long, quiet corridors. Every wall was smooth, dark, and glowing faintly blue. It felt empty. It felt watched. After 10 minutes, they entered a chamber, a round table, no chairs. In the center was a black stone, floating above a light. The voice spoke again. Is Earth's reply. Then the stone lit up. A projection appeared. Not a human, not a symbol, but a recording from years ago. Admiral Serena Kale, Earth's last council representative, stood in the middle. Her voice echoed through the room. You sent messengers. You want peace? But we sent warnings long. Before this, we asked for reform, for balance, for justice. You delayed. You protected your own interests. You watched smaller species burn. Her tone was calm, but each word carried weight. Now you ask for peace, but you still do not. Take responsibility. She paused, looking directly into the camera. We are not your weapon. We are not your shield. We're not your counsel anymore. The image flickered. Then came a new voice. Cold, male, not recorded, not synthetic. Live. I am Director Rel, commander of the Soul Defense Network. Earth acknowledges your message. Velos stepped forward carefully. We wish to open talks, to understand what has happened. What we can do, the voice interrupted. You wish to survive, we understand. But you came too late. Velos took a breath. Please, the galaxy is collapsing. We need Earth. Everyone does. Silence followed. Then Rel spoke again. Do you know how many times we begged for action? How many years we watched corruption? How often we saved your worlds? Without being thanked? The voice grew sharper. You ignored us. You used us. You depended on our silence. Another pause. We have seen enough. Earth now operates alone. We answer only to truth. Not politics, not fear. Velos tried again. Can't we start over? This time, there was a longer silence. Then Rel said something strange. Perhaps, but not with words. A pulse of light hit the stone. Data streamed from it, documents, records, footage, crimes the Council had buried. Secrets of failed evacuations, evidence of ignored threats, proof that over 23 civilizations had asked for help and were denied. Earth had kept everything. Now it was showing it all. We judged, said Rel, and found your system guilty. Velos looked stunned. So this is war? No, replied Rel. This is clarity. Then the stone shut down. The room dimmed. And the voice spoke one last time. Return. Speak honestly. Let them decide what galaxy they want. The delegation left. The station closed. The docking bay sealed forever. As the council ships returned, they found another message waiting on their main communication line. Only 5 words, do not follow us again. When they returned to the chamber, chaos erupted. Some screamed for war. Others begged for surrender. Many demanded to hide the data Earth had given, but it was too late. The data leaked. Entire systems saw the truth. The Council was not what it claimed to be, and Earth had never truly belonged to it. One by one, systems began to fall silent. But this time it wasn't fear, it was choice. They were watching, waiting, and wondering. Who would follow Earth next, and who would be left behind? The blackness of space was silent. Silent. The trade lanes between the Denari and Vulcan systems were normally busy cargo ships, patrols, supply drones. But now, for 5 days, there had been nothing. No pings, no chatter. Dud. Just empty static. Captain. Lorvin of the Vulcan Watch sat stiffly in his command chair. His six-eyed face was tense. His crew was nervous. Everyone had heard the stories, the rumors since. Earth left the Galactic Council. One rumor whispered in every dark corner was about the ship without a flag. A ghost ship, human-made. No ID, no transponder, no markings. It's just death in its wake. Lorvin didn't believe in ghost stories. But when the long-range scanners picked up a vessel matching the description, silence fell across his bridge. It was real. The ship drifted slowly, silently, no lights, no signs of life.
Nice.
But it was massive, but enhanced. Sleek armor, scorched plating, and no external ports. Just one thing was clear. No one had ever built a warship like this. Not even the humans during the Orion conflicts. Lorvin sent out a hail, nothing another hail. Still silence, he sent a patrol drone forward. The drone vanished. No explosion, no trace, no signal. It just disappeared. Panic started to creep into his crew's eyes. But Lorvin had pride. It was Volcran. His species didn't run, he ordered his full crew to battle positions and approach the ship directly. That was a mistake. The moment they passed within 200 clicks, their ship's systems started glitching. Lights flickered. Navigation twisted. Artificial gravity pulsed wildly, and then a voice came through the comms. But it wasn't a human voice. It was a synthetic voice, low and hollow. Warning. You are within human sovereign space. You will leave immediately. No further warnings will be given. Lorvin stared at the display. Human sovereign space, whispered. But Earth left the council. They gave up their claims. The voice returned. We gave up council, not territory. Then, their engines failed, power drained, weapons shut down. The Volcran warship, strong and proud, floated helpless beside the black vessel, and the strange ship turned slowly. Single central cannon, glowing dimly, pointed directly at their core. Then it transmitted one last message. This is not a threat. This is a line. You crossed it. And then the ship vanished. No hyperjump trail. No energy spike. It was their one moment. Gone the next, Lorvin's crew was frozen. His communications officer had fainted. And for the first time in his long military life, Captain Lorvin was afraid. Because if this ship without a flag truly belonged to the humans, and Earth hadn't gone silent, it had gone sovereign, alone, prepared, watching, and now. Defending its own laws, across the galaxy, others began reporting similar encounters. Silent patrols, human ships without names. Ships that gave no second chances. Some called them phantoms. Others knew better. They were warnings, and the message was clear. Earth had not left the galaxy. It had simply decided to rule itself. And anyone who crossed the invisible border would not return the same. Not every war begins with gunfire. Some begin with silence, and ships with no flags. The sky above planet Keller was dark and silent. But in the silence, something was watching. Deep in the dark zone where no ships ever flew. Where sensors gave nothing back, and where light itself seemed to vanish, there was movement. Not from a ship, not from any known life form, but from something old, something forgotten. A warning beacon had been placed there long ago by the ancient Antheri Empire. A single symbol blinked red across its rusted shell. Not a message, not a name. Just a symbol of death, the broken spiral. And below it, the words, "Do not follow, do not awaken." But now the beacon was no longer blinking. It was cold. And offline, it had been shut down. By something, Captain Serix of the Velkari Watch Fleet stared at the empty beacon logs. Beacon was supposed to transmit every hour it stopped. 2 days ago. Commander Yulin, older and colder than the stars, narrowed his eyes. Is it sabotage? No ship went near it. Not from our logs, but we did detect a strange distortion. Right before it went silent, not energy, not radiation, just space itself bending for a moment. The room went quiet. Serix whispered the words everyone feared. The Voidwalkers. Yulon didn't speak. Wait? He only stared at the screen. After a long moment, he replied, "They were only stories." "No," said a voice behind them. It was High Scholar Rinnan of the Outer Core Library. His robes were torn, his eyes red from sleepless nights. He had arrived without a message, without permission. "I've been tracking their patterns for years," Renan said, voice trembling. "Every time a civilization falls without warning. Every time a sun collapses without cause. The sector goes dark without even a distress signal. The pattern points here, always here, to the broken spiral. To this place." Sarek stood. "Are you saying the Voidwalkers are real?" Renan nodded slowly. "They are not a myth. They are not even from this galaxy. They come from between galaxies. From the blackness between light. They don't attack. They erase." Yulin's voice was steel. "Why now? Why after all this time?" Renan looked at them, voice hoarse. "Because Earth was the last wall keeping them away. The humans had technology they never shared. Knowledge stolen from a time. Before time, they held the gates shut. Sarek's went pale. When Earth left the Council, they let go. In the Galactic Council's deep chamber, thousands of worlds debated the growing unease. Ships had gone missing. Sectors had gone quiet. Whispers of the unseen began to spread across military channels. A representative from Zelth Prime shouted, "This is just human fear propaganda. They always spoke in riddles. They always warned of things beyond. Lies." But then the chamber darkened. The lights didn't fail. Power didn't drop. The darkness entered the room, and with it a sound, not a voice, a pressure, like something ancient had just opened its eyes, and every species in that chamber froze, except for one. The human envoy who was supposed to have left the chamber, cycles ghosted silently, eyes closed. He whispered one phrase before he vanished into the shadows behind him, there awake. The human outposts had gone quiet. All of them. No signals, no debris, no war. Just silence. One by one, galactic empires began sending scout fleets, but none returned, except one probe its memory, partially erased. Its images glitched, but it showed one thing clearly. A symbol dot drawn into the planet's crust. A broken spiral. The same symbol from the old Nathari warning. Panic spread across the galaxy. Fear turned into chaos. Armies mobilized, fleets readied. But no one knew where to strike, because the enemy left no trace, except fear and silence. Somewhere in the abandoned ruins of Earth's first orbital defense platform, a human AI reactivated itself. Its name was Archon. Its memory was damaged, but one phrase burned clear. Voidwalker Protocol. Initiate Stage 1. It opened a buried Channel 1 that reached across time itself and sent out a signal not in sound, but in meaning, a call for warriors, from before Earth joined the stars, from a time when monsters still feared mankind. The galaxy had mocked Earth. They called humans paranoid, too violent, too secretive, too dangerous. But now, the galaxy waited, because in the dark, they all hoped the humans had one more plan left. Because the threat that now moved among them was not one anyone dared to name out loud, but every leader, every general. Every surviving scout knew one truth. If the humans couldn't stop them, no one could, and the broken spiral would soon cover the stars. The sky above planet Keller was dark and silent, but in the silence, something was watching, deep in the dark zone where no ships ever flew, where sensors gave nothing back, and where light itself seemed to vanish. There was movement, not from a ship, not from any known life form, but from something old, something forgotten. A warning beacon had been placed there long ago by the ancient Antheri Empire. A single symbol blinked red across its rusted shell, not a message, not a name. Just a symbol of death, the broken spiral, and below it the words, "Do not follow, do not awaken." But now the beacon was no longer blinking. It was cold, and offline it had been shut down. By something, Captain Sarex of the Velkari Watch Fleet stared at the empty beacon logs. Beacon was supposed to transmit every hour it stopped. 2 days ago. Commander Yulin, older and colder than the stars, narrowed his eyes. Is it sabotage? No ship went near it. Not from our logs, but
Oh.
we did detect a strange distortion. Right before it went silent, not energy, not radiation, just space itself bending for a moment. The room went quiet. Sarix whispered the words everyone feared. The Voidwalkers. Yulan didn't speak. Wait? He only stared at the screen. After a long moment, he replied, They were only stories. No, said a voice behind them. It was High Scholar Rinnan of the Outer Core Library. His robes were torn, his eyes red from sleepless nights. He had arrived without a message, without permission. I've been tracking their patterns for years, Rinnan said, voice trembling. Every time a civilization falls without warning. Every time a sun collapses without cause. The sector goes dark without even a distress signal. The pattern points here, always here, to the broken spiral. To this place, Sarix stood. Are you saying the Voidwalkers are real? Rinnan nodded slowly. They are not a myth. They are not even from this galaxy. They come from between galaxies. From the blackness between light. They don't attack. They erase. Yulan's voice was steel. Why now? Why after all this time? Rinnan looked at them, voice hoarse. Because Earth was the last wall keeping them away. The humans had technology they never shared. Knowledge stolen from a time. Before time, they held the gates shut. Sarix went pale. When Earth left the Council, they let go. In the Galactic Council's deep chamber, thousands of worlds debated the growing unease. Ships had gone missing. Sectors had gone quiet. Whispers of the unseen began to spread across military channels. A representative from Zelth Prime shouted, This is just human fear propaganda. They always spoke in riddles. They always warned of things beyond. Lies. But then, the chamber darkened. The lights didn't fail. Power didn't drop. The darkness entered the room, and with it a sound, not a voice, a pressure, like something ancient had just opened its eyes, and every species in that chamber froze, except for one. The human envoy who was supposed to have left the chamber, cycles ghosted silently, eyes closed. He whispered one phrase before he vanished into the shadows behind him, there awake. The human outposts had gone quiet. All of them. No signals, no debris, no war. Just silence. One by one, galactic empires began sending scout fleets, but none returned, except one probe its memory, partially erased. Its images glitched, but it showed one thing clearly. A symbol dot drawn into the planet's crust. A broken spiral. The same symbol from the old Nathari warning. Panic spread across the galaxy. Fear turned into chaos. Armies mobilized, fleets readied. But no one knew where to strike, because the enemy left no trace, except fear and silence. Somewhere in the abandoned ruins of Earth's first orbital defense platform, a human AI reactivated itself. Its name was Archon. Its memory was damaged, but one phrase burned clear. Voidwalker Protocol. Initiate Stage 1. It opened a buried Channel 1 that reached across time itself and sent out a signal not in sound, but in meaning, a call for warriors from before Earth joined the stars. From a time when monsters still feared mankind, the galaxy had mocked. Earth they called humans paranoid, too violent, too secretive, too dangerous. But now, the galaxy waited, because in the dark, they all hoped the humans had one more plan left. Because the threat that now moved among them was not one anyone dared to name out loud, but every leader, every general. Every surviving scout knew one truth. If the humans couldn't stop them, no one could, and the broken spiral would soon cover the stars. The room was quiet, not just quiet, dead silent. No movement, no whisper, not even the hum of the Council's great machines. For the first time in over 9,000 years, the Hall of Order had been abandoned. Dust covered the tall seats. The banners of galactic empires hung, torn, and faded. Once powerful beings ruled here. Now, only silence remained. Then a voice spoke, not a scream, not a whisper, just a voice, clear, calm, and human. It didn't come through the usual channels, not from any council frequency, not from any known relay. It was an old signal, riding a forgotten data stream buried deep beneath abandoned systems. A voice from a planet they had erased, a voice they were sure would never speak again. "Attention," it said. "To any species listening, this is not a warning. It is a statement of truth." In the far edges of the Vega sector, a scavenger crew picked it up first. They froze. Every species had learned to fear a certain tone, measured still and unmistakably human. Soon, others began to hear it too. Cargo fleets, border patrols, pirates, warlords, isolated colonies. Systems untouched by the Council's laws for centuries. The message played across them all, repeating once every 6 hours. This galaxy has chosen chaos. You broke order. You silenced Earth. You erased our voice. Oh, static. But we are still here. No name, no source. But everyone knew. Humans. For over a century they had vanished from galactic records. No one knew where they had gone after. The Council expelled them. Some believed they returned to Earth to die in isolation. Others said they joined the deep beyond, a myth where no star maps worked and no fleets returned. The Council told the people they are gone forever. Oh, that silence was broken. On the shattered world of Garen V, an old warlord named Kesrith heard the voice. His mind raced back to the Battle of Yulan Spire, when a single human ship took down a fleet of 60. He had survived that day by hiding. He still remembered the look in their eyes, calm, unshaken, not afraid to die. He shivered. "They're back," he whispered. In the ruins of the Council archives on Zyril Prime, 2 scholars huddled over their broken signal array. "I thought Earth was silent," said one. The other shook her head. "That's the mistake everyone made. We thought silence meant defeat. It just meant they were listening." The message played again. "We watched as you tore treaties apart. As you let the strong crush the weak, as the law became a weapon, not a shield." The message never named names. It never called out the Council, but it didn't need to. Everyone knew. After Earth was removed from the Council, everything changed. The balance broke. Peace turned into slow war. Alliances crumbled. Crime lords became kings. And no one dared stop it, because the one species that once did was gone. But they weren't gone. They had simply been waiting on a moon orbiting the black star Tavarax. A single probe reactivated. It was ancient, built in Earth's last days in the Council. Its outer shell was damaged, but its core was untouched. It began transmitting again, powered by something unknown. A second voice entered the stream. This one was different. It wasn't a statement, it was a question. "Are you ready to face the consequence of silence?" Across the galaxy, systems began to fail. Not from war, not from attack, but from precision strikes, targeted codeworms that shut down supply lines, transport relays, and defense grids. Every worm left behind the same image, a burning Council emblem crossed by a human handprint. Someone had built these. Someone was sending a message. Humans never forgot. In the outer belt, a mercenary ship docked for fuel. Its captain, a cyborg, from Corin Delta, leaned forward as the signal reached his console. His mechanical eye twitched. He remembered Earth's music, its culture, its wild, emotional people. But he also remembered their war machines. He opened the recording to listen. Again, this time there was more. "You broke the circle of trust. You silenced truth. You erased justice. Now the silence ends." Suddenly, the ship's lights flickered. The crew panicked. "What is it?" He didn't answer. His mind was already racing through memories. All the old warnings. All the things they ignored. Humans had never needed permission to act, the voice continued. "If you want order, you'll have to earn it. It's because Earth is no longer silent. Earth is watching." Far beyond known space, a human fleet prepared. They had stayed hidden for 112 years, built in darkness, trained in silence, forged in fury. The ships were not marked with the Council flag, not with Earth's old insignia. They bore a new symbol in empty thrones surrounded by stars. The captain of the lead ship, an old man with steel-gray eyes, stood alone at the bridge. He listened to the message as it broadcast again. They wanted silence. Now we give them a voice they cannot unhear. He looked to his comms officer. Send it again. Make sure every system hears it. And if they respond, the officer asked. The captain smiled. It was not a kind smile. Then they'll know exactly what we've become. From the shadows, Earth had risen again. But it was not the Earth of diplomats and peacekeepers. It was something sharper, something forged by betrayal and silence. Galaxy had forgotten what humans were. Now they would remember. Because the voice was not a warning. It was the first strike.